Welcome to this explainer. If you've ever stared at a massive, incredibly dense PDF of Barbershop Harmony Society contest rules and felt your eyes just glaze over, well, you are absolutely in the right place. Today, we're taking those newly approved 2026 regulations and translating them into a clear, actionable roadmap for the international stage. We're going to break it all down so you know exactly what to expect, right from the moment you form your group up to the second you hit that final glorious chord on the contest stage. Now, I know a rulebook might seem a little dry on the surface, but the thrill of competing is anything but. That bright spotlight, the ringing chords, the audience holding its collective breath, it's literal magic. But to get to that magic, we need to know exactly what the judges demand from us. Because honestly, the difference between a gold medal and going home early, it usually hides right there in the fine print. So here is our roadmap for today. We'll be looking at 1. Ensemble types and eligibility, 2. Paths to qualification, 3. The 3 scoring categories, 4. Understanding judging panels, and finally, 5. Rules and penalties. Let's jump right in.
Part 1. Ensemble types and eligibility. Basically, who actually gets to compete?
First things first, the absolute rock-solid foundation of competing is membership. Every single person in your quartet or chorus has got to be a fully paid member in good standing with the society and their specific district. No outstanding dues, no suspensions. Your registration must be completely sorted out, and you must hold a full convention registration just to step onto that stage. Overlooking this super simple administrative step is literally the fastest way to get your group benched. Just take care of the paperwork, right? That way you can focus 100% on the music. Okay, so your membership is locked in. How do you categorize your group? The rules strictly classify ensembles into men's, women's, or mixed harmony. And how is this determined? It's actually based entirely on how individual members self-identify in the society's member center database. It's super straightforward. All singers identify as male, it's a men's group. All female, women's. A mix of identities, that's mixed harmony. You'll definitely want to make sure your database profiles are accurate before the contest season kicks off. Now, if you're competing as a chorus, you need to burn this number into your brain. 9. For choruses, 9 is the critical, absolute minimum number of participants required to be physically on stage. And yep, that officially includes the director. If someone gets sick at the last minute or a flight gets delayed and you step out there with only 8 people, you aren't an eligible chorus under these rules anymore. It's a fundamental baseline. Here's where it gets kind of fun. The specialized age brackets. For next-gen varsity quartets, the math is easy. Everyone just has to be 25 or younger by championship day. But the seniors category, that is a fascinating logistical puzzle. Not only does every single member need to be at least 55 years old, but there's a strict mathematical rule. The combined accumulated age of the 4 members has to equal 240 years or more. It really makes you think about the strategic math going on behind the scenes when forming these groups. Moving on to Part 2, Paths to Qualification. How do we survive the prelims? To totally demystify the qualification math, you just have to contrast 2 very different thresholds, the target score and the minimum score. Think of the target score as your golden ticket. You hit that at a prelim event, boom, congratulations, automatic qualification. You're going to international, guaranteed. But what if you don't quite hit the target? Well, that's where the minimum score comes in. Earning the minimum score doesn't guarantee your spot, but it keeps you alive. It puts you on the bubble, where you might be your district's rep, or you might be grabbed as a wild card from the overarching scoring pool. Let's look at the exact numbers. For the International Quartet Contest, an 81% average guarantees your spot. Follow but short, you absolutely must hit 76% to stay in the running for a wild card. For choruses, in 2026, the automatic target is 80%, with a 74% minimum. And notice how the seniors contests operate differently here. They don't have an automatic target score at all. They strictly use a 63% minimum and rank the whole pool to fill the 25 allotted spots. At this level, literally every single decimal point matters. All right, Part 3, the 3 scoring categories. Let's get inside the judges' minds. So, here's the big picture. Every single song you perform is scored from 1 to 100 across 3 distinct but deeply interconnected artistic categories: musicality, performance, and singing. Your final score is a true, straight average of these 3 lenses, which means you cannot afford to slack on any of them. They combine to create a holistic picture of what you left on that stage. Let's see exactly what each one demands. Why do the judges care so much about musicality? Well, because they're basically the ultimate advocates and gatekeepers for the barbershop style itself. They aren't just checking if you hit the right notes. They're assessing the actual musicianship used to bring the arrangement to life. They want characteristic chord progressions, strongly voiced consonant harmony, and the melody kept mostly in an inside voice. They want to see you purposefully integrate the original vision of the composer, lyricist, and arranger. Meanwhile, the performance category is all about the vibe. It's the audience experience. The performance judge is evaluating the emotional impact through the seamless interaction of your vocal and visual elements. They're asking, are you believable? Does your physical presentation perfectly match the musical world you're creating? They look at absolutely everything that contributes to vulnerability, emotional impact, and pure, raw entertainment value. And finally, singing. This category demands absolute technical excellence. The judges are evaluating intonation, vocal skill, and most importantly, supreme unity and consistency. When a group perfectly locks in, it creates that signature ringing expansion of sound that barbershop is so famous for. And it's not just about cranking up the volume. It's a carefully tuned vehicle used to convey genuine emotion and support the song's underlying message. Part 4. Understanding judging panels. Who is actually sitting behind the table? Depending on how high the stakes are, you're going to face different panel sizes. Early on, at division, district, or prelim contests, you'll usually see a double panel. That's 2 judges per scoring category. Bump up to Next Gen and Seniors International contests, and you face a triple panel. But for the main international quartet and chorus championships, you max out at a quadruple panel. 4 judges for musicality, 4 for performance, and 4 for singing. 12 sets of ears rigorously analyzing your every breath. No pressure, right? Which brings us to Part 5, Rules and Penalties. The disqualification pitfalls you absolutely must avoid. We're in the final stretch, and honestly, this might be the most crucial thing to know. The rulebook dictates that the panel chair has absolute authority to drop the hammer with penalties. And we aren't just talking about losing a point or two. Depending on how severe the violation is, judges can completely zero out your hard-earned score in a specific category. Or worse, the panel chair can declare an outright forfeiture, wiping your entire performance from the record completely. So what triggers these massive penalties? It's kind of a gauntlet. First, you cannot repeat a song or even a big chunk of a song across different rounds of the same contest. Second, copyright clearance is non-negotiable. Singing an uncleared arrangement is an instant risk of disqualification. Third, your music must be strictly a cappella, no instrumental intros, interludes, or conclusions. 0. And finally, your song choice cannot be primarily religious or primarily patriotic in intent. And here is the absolute golden rule, the core of the entire art form. The rules explicitly state that while a brief, appropriate use of a soloist or duet is fine, at no time should the musical texture ever exceed 4 parts. Period. If your chorus gets swept up in a massive big finish and splits into 5 or 6 parts, boom, you risk total forfeiture by the musicality judges. 4 parts. That is the one rule you simply cannot break. The rulebook gives you the boundaries, the logistics, and the exact math you need to qualify. But once the dues are paid, the copyrights are cleared, and you are locked into those signature 4-part chords, the artistry is 100% on you. The judges give you the framework, but only you can bring the magic. You know the rules now, but do you have the performance that's going to rewrite the record books?